Hey, what is up guys? Welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh! Market Price Watch Guide so you guys can get extra value for your cards, pick up some cards. Keep in mind the ban list is just around the corner, so use your own judgment. I'll be using mine over here. Actually, this might be actually yours because we're going to be doing a giveaway in this video for a secret rare Solemn Judgment. If you want to enter, all you guys gotta go ahead and do is just leave a comment. It can be whatever it is, just leave it down below. Make sure it's okay with your mom though, or your nan, whatever your parental guardian, because I will actually be needing your address to mail you obviously the card itself. But anyways, let's do something more interesting. I'm gonna give away the card. I'll check back in about a week, and whoever has the least amount of thumbs up on their comment, I'll give away it to them. So instead of it being like super, like I guess like sign into money, multiple accounts and get thumbs up, we're gonna do the least amount of thumbs up. But anyways, let's get started with this Yu-Gi-Oh! Market Guide. So, first off, Exciton Night. A lot of people are picking these up. A lot of people are buying and selling these simply because I think it's going to be coming off the ban list. Like I said, use your own judgment on that as far as Exciton Night goes. Next up, Harpy's Feather Duster. The reason why is because it got legalized over in the OCG. It's completely legal, and a lot of people aren't even running it. It just shows you how powerful certain decks are nowadays. But you know, it could come back into the game. A lot of people are talking about Heavy Storm as well. Heavy Storm, although is a lot cheaper of a card, some people do want to pick up the more rare versions of Harpy's Feather Duster, specifically like I think it's like a Game Boy one. That's the one that's worth a lot. But next up, Dimension Barrier. A lot of people already know that this card is pretty hot, but it's going to be even more hot next format, guys. And the reason why that this card is a good card to have is because of the Zodiacs. You can completely destroy a Zodiac deck if you have Dimension Barrier. And a lot of other decks coming out in the game, whether they are synchro based like the Wind Witches, you can completely shut down certain decks. That's why Dimension Barrier is an excellent card to actually have at your arsenal. Next up, as far as Invoker goes, a lot of people are getting rid of Invokers because they're afraid it's going to get banned. But obviously Zodiacs, or Zodiacs as they were going to be called in the OCG. But nonetheless, yeah, these are kind of going up and down. Like some people are scared, some people are like, yo, I'm just gonna pick up one at least so I can actually have access to it. It all depends on what the ban list is, so keep that in mind as well. But there are some other cards that you can be on the lookout for. So this card is really expensive, and like when I did my openings, I actually gave away 2 of these. Now they're like $50 each. So whoever got those, congrats to you, because now you're, I think it was like $10 at the point of when I opened these up and I gave them away. But now they're like 50 bucks. And the Wind Witches are coming out, and this card hasn't had a reprint, so I think that this is an excellent card to have. If you have it, it's pretty pricey right now, and some people think that, of course, cards are going to get reprinted. But the thing is, this hasn't had a reprint for a while, and it's a really good card, and a lot of decks really rely off of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and it's a really, really good card, too. So this could definitely be a card to try to obtain if you're interested in playing Wind Witches, or, of course, again, there's no tell as far as what Konami does on a ban list or reprints. Next up, the whole Artefact like engine, the Artefact Sanctum, Artefact Moltok, and Scythe. Those are all cards a lot of people are picking up, specifically Scythe for the Zodiacs. Plus, a lot of different decks in the OCG are actually running Artefact Sanctum just to kind of deal again with the whole Zodiacs. Next up, Delinquent Duo. A lot of times during these like phases where we're about to get a ban list, a lot of people pick up some of these older banned cards. Delinquent Duo is just one of those cards. Next up, Cyframe Lord Omega. A lot of people are afraid about this card hitting the list, so some people are getting rid of them. Just keep that, again, use your own judgment for those cards as far as that goes. But the next card, Bryanak, Dragon of the Ice Bearer, completely legalized in the OCG, and I think that he will still see some play. Like, he's definitely still a good card. It's not one of those ratas where it's like Dark Strike Fighter where it's like, well, I would rather just not play that card. Yes, it's not as broken. If you guys didn't know, over in the OCG, they had this card legalized, but they also changed its effect, so you can only activate its effect once, and you can only bounce your opponent's stuff, so you can't like infinitely just keep on going to town with the card. So it is nerfed, but at the same time, it still definitely is a good card. If you don't already have one, it might be okay to pick one up, but I also want to give you guys the knowledge of that usually when cards get errata, like they change the effect, they usually reprint them, so then everyone has the new effect on the card. So again, use your own judgment for that, but it's still not bad to have a, you know, a secret rare or a dual terminal Bryanak. Next up, as far as Infernoids go, we all know that the grass is always tastier on the other side, aka the lawn mowing next door. A lot of Infernoid builds still doing relatively well. You'll see them pop up over in the OCG once in a while, so the deck still does things. And Divide over here is a pretty pricey card, so if you guys don't have access to this card and you want to play that, I don't feel like a lot of these cards are going to get reprinted anytime soon. That Usually they do like an towards like the end of the year-ish area. They'll do like you know, the mega tins, but we're gonna have quite a long time until that. I don't know unless they do some mega booster pack. Again, it's Konami talking about we could get like this in the next tin. You know, it happens. You know, crazy things happen. Next up, Spirals. A lot of people are just picking up Spiral stuff simply because Spirals is an archetype that like people really didn't know how to play. I actually made a video on this a while back. If you guys haven't checked out what Spirals do, I'll leave a link down below in the description box. You guys can check out what the heck these Spirals do. And at the moment, they're kind of interesting. Like, they don't really have like a set goal other than like using other cards and I want to say other archetypes because you're just using like other like, you know, extra deck stuff. But nonetheless, Spirals is a very interesting archetype, and a lot of people are ready to see what else they get for support because no one really is playing them right now in the TCG. There might be a few players, but it's very low. And if they get like one broken card, then everything shoots up in price, and they're relatively cheap now. So if you're interested in playing these or want to take a big risk, just buy a bunch of Spiral stuff, see what happens. Maybe they make a Spiral Spellbook of Judgment. Next up, Totally Awesome. A lot of players are like, this card just came out. Guys, even though this card pretty much just came out, you know, it happened to a lot of different decks where they would release a card, Spellbook of Judgment, the Dragon Rulers, they release it, and then, you know, they just ban a bunch of stuff. So, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, if it's one ban list, two ban lists. Sometimes things get banned really fast, sometimes they take a really long time. Again, use your guys' own solemn judgment for that. But Totally Awesome. It got hit in the OCG. A lot of times we do follow the OCG list. If you guys didn't know what the heck got hit in OCG, I'll link that video also down below. But Totally Awesome did get hit on the ban list over in the OCG. And, you know, the Paleozoics can't really function too well. But this card is also really just good in general in other decks. I know that a lot of people even run it in, like, Heroes, where Stratos at Konami. Next up, as far as ABC goes, a lot of people are selling their ABC decks. I've seen a lot of these posted on forums getting rid of a complete ABC deck. The deck was relatively cheap anyways, but if you guys have this deck, I think it's safe to say that most players understand that this deck will probably get hit. If it doesn't get hit, though, it will still be relevant. What's interesting, recently, there was a player that actually topped in the OCG with the ABC deck. So, if any of you guys have the deck and you're like, you know what, I'm only going to get like $10 for like, you know, all the cards in the deck because more than likely it's going to get banned, so people are getting rid of the deck. However, maybe you guys can try to innovate, and, you know, sometimes decks evolve, sometimes they survive ban lists, and that also can technically be a thing. But it doesn't really matter. Like, Union Hangers, like, you know, it's not a very expensive card in the first place. Again, most of the things in the ABC are relatively cheap. But, you know, you total up everything, even if, you know, you have, like, a bunch of the cards, it might be a good idea to kind of get rid of them. Again, unless, of course, you want to build the deck yourself. I think for an investor, if you have a bunch of the ABC stuff, it's probably good to get rid of it. But if you just want, like, one copy of the deck, like you already have it, it's fine. You're not going to lose too much as far as the profit goes. They're going to only go down. But I just want to let you guys know, if you are ABC player, it probably is a smart thing to get rid of some of the cards. Whether it's like the Tsukiyomis or whatever you use in the extra deck, really is what it comes down to. But next up, Imperial Order, another one of those cards that got an errata, but this one is seeing some play. Sometimes we get cards that see erratas, and then people are like, I don't want to play that card. Like, if you guys didn't know, Goyo Guardian also got an errata. It requires like Earth stuff. It's irrelevant because Goyo Guardian is irrelevant. But the thing is Imperial Order is a pretty good card. You didn't know what it does. Well, it pretty much has the same effect, even with this errata. It's like you get to negate all the spell cards. It's pretty good against you know, pendulum-based decks. Pendulum-based decks are also getting a new card that just it's like you pay it's kind of so you can destroy anti-spell fragrance. You pay 1,000 life points, you destroy a spell or trap card like once per turn. It's like a continuous one. It's really good. But nonetheless, Imperial Order is just a super powerful card. And to my knowledge, this card hasn't had like a print that's really easy to get. So if you guys don't have an Imperial Order and like, you know, at your locals or like a card shop, it's only like $1 or something like that, pick up one of these. If they have multiple, it might be a good investment. Because even though the cards will get errata and probably get a reprint, some people will just prefer like the older cards. I have like one of them on my wall actually. Oh, like, you guys want to check it out? Check this out, check this out. I actually have it on my wall. So if it becomes unbanned, we can give it away. But nonetheless, yeah, it's just it's a good card. Next up, Inzectors. If you guys didn't know, OCG also had Inzectors changed on the ban list. And so Inzectors can be a deck that you guys might be interested in playing. It's a very cheap deck anyways, like nothing in Inzectors is very expensive, but if everything becomes unbanned, if you have them, you guys can get rid of them. So if you have them, I would say just hold on to them until like the ban list happens, then maybe you can make a little bit of a profit. It might only be a few bucks, but if you have like 10 Hornets, you know, you know, a couple dollars on each one, it all adds up. You can go ahead and buy some hentai games or something like that. But next up, Pot of Desires. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, you know, coming into the next format, you know, there's not as many people playing it. There's a lot of archetypes coming out in the game. DDDs is a archetype that can definitely make good use of it. A lot of synchro decks can still make good use of it. There probably is going to be a lot of different decks that can still make good use of the card. I know with Zodiacs, sometimes you banish one Mora and it can really hurt the deck. Just check out the OCG list if you guys haven't seen that, and you'll notice there's a lot of decks that don't run it. But as far as like people afraid of it getting banned, I see it. Okay, this is my personal take on it. Is they usually will put this in like a 10, and then they'll be like, oh, Pot of Desires is either it's going to be out power creep. There's going to be like a new better card, right? Or they'll just be like, oh, it's at like 1 now or something like that. This card is so hype, and it's still very pricey. It's like 60, 70 bucks ish right now. And the thing is that it can be used in a lot of different decks. So I feel like a reprint will probably be announced before they go ahead and nuke the card, if they decide to even do it. Again, sometimes things just get out power crept. But you guys can let me know your thoughts on Pot of Desires down below. But I think that getting rid of Pot of Desires, it might not be necessary, especially if you want to play it. But if you don't want to play the card, then by all means, you can get rid of it, because a reprint is definitely possible. Konami, sometimes they reprint things really fast. Sometimes they take like a year plus. Same thing with like Minerva and stuff like that. But if you have Minerva, I think you probably wanted to be using it anyways. Again, some of those banned cards that are banned, sometimes people, you know, they get hyped up. They're like, oh, I want to get some of those banned cards because they can come off the ban list. You know, and also Solemn Strike, even though it got a reprint, it's still a pretty pricey card. You know, a lot of people still want to run multiple copies. Do I think it will be hit? I don't know. I feel like it already got its reprint, so at this point, it could be a thing. But if you guys look at a lot of lists, some people just aren't even playing that card, because like people can follow up with another play, and that's going back to like Dimension Barrier just being such a boss card. A lot of people are running this over Solemns, especially going to the next format. If you guys haven't seen what the deck lists are, don't get me wrong, Solemn Strike is still definitely a great card because it deals with things that are already present on the board. But anyways, like I said, guys, if you guys want to be entered in, make sure it's okay with your NAN, because again, your parental guardian if you're underage, because I'm gonna need your address if I sign and mail this. Secret of Solemn Judgment to you guys, and Solemn, maybe you come back, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, like I said, all you gotta do is just leave a comment down below in the video, and it can say whatever, and I'm gonna pick the one in a couple, let's say like a week-ish, whatever comment has the least amount of thumbs, like, I don't know, can you get negative thumbs down? I don't know, whatever one has the least amount of thumbs up, or I don't think you can go negative in thumbs in YouTube. But I'm going to pick someone down below that has the least amount of thumbs up. And that person will be the winner of the Solemn Strike. And I'll sign it and mail it to you guys. But anyways, let me know if you guys felt like I missed out on any cards that you guys think will be good to pick up or get rid of, due to, of course, you know, the upcoming formats. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. And I am signing out.